who drives only for rides or eats and then or does both? I'm curious.
I'm just
The driver.
You're just a driver, and you've never tried eats just because you don't feel like it, or?
There's no parking in DC.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
of
so
course.
it's very difficult to pick up food and not get a ticket.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
That's
see
it's
that with you. Spokane's not too bad in that aspect.
yeah. In bigger cities, a lot of our food, a lot of couriers actually go on bikes or e-bikes
Absolutely.
or have a scooter. So it's very different in in smaller cities. There's more of an overlap between rides and food. It's interesting to see. How about others? Randy, do you just drive or do you do both?
Mostly drive. Sometimes I do eats, but I miss the people aspect. I like talking to the passengers. I like being around people, so I rather just drive, to be quite honest with you.
That's cool. How about you, Allison and Gail? You do both or one?
So before the pandemic, I did actually mostly people. I had to really consider about the safety of my mom. So the happy middle ground for right now is delivering food. It's a little safer living with her. But I actually don't know. I mean, like Latarsha said, I don't know if it's safer, but that's just the choice that I've made, is to focus on food for now. And Seattle's pretty bustling. I mean, a lot of people don't have cars here, and the parking is a lot easier than DC. It's easier to park in Seattle. I feel for you with DC. That would be really rough, because the price of a ticket is like for delivery. I don't know. I understand. I completely understand. So the parking's a little easier here.
Do you miss the people? You're not as much of a people person as Randy?
No, I like people. I get what Randy's saying. It's food does not talk to you.
Sometimes it speaks to me.
Okay, nice.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It smells good. I try to keep it far away, that smell, because it smells so good.
How about you, Gail? Do you
I just do Uber Eats. I don't feel comfortable being a woman alone, taking strangers in my car, but that's just my point of view. And I do just fine with the Eats. I prefer it, and I love the job.
I'm curious as to, like, safety is a big deal for us, both in terms of COVID, but then especially for women, and that's both for drivers and riders too. I'm curious on both front, like on the safety front, how do you feel now? And then do you think we're doing enough as a service to help you feel safe? And are there any ideas you have, or like we should work on doing X or Y or Z?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, like in March, I mean, Seattle got a lot of press about being one of the hub spots of the pandemic. And so there was a lot of fear coming up for me as a driver. I live with I'm one of the caretakers for my mom, who's 77. So it's not only my health, but it's my mom's health. And so I had to really just kind of ask myself some questions about my personal safety, and that my safety was also affecting my mom. And what happened is that I think one of the wonderful things that Uber has provided is there's been, they provide you cleaning materials, and they're very, Uber's really supportive about making sure that you are taking all precautions. And so that, that for me is nice. I think one of the things that's been a gift about being a delivery driver is, in a weird way, I feel like I'm helping. I'm one person in this, in this pandemic, but I feel like I'm providing something that's helping. And that's given me, I don't know, when I'm afraid, I think of the fact that I'm doing something that's of service. I take all precautions, and I sanitize the heck out of everything. And I think about, when I'm delivering food, how I would like it delivered, and that it's clean and my hands are clean, and that it's somewhere that someone feels comfortable picking it up. So I try to do my part, but the thing that has been helpful is to feel like I'm making a tiny difference by helping people who are afraid to come out of their homes. And then, you know, the flip side is I try to stay as safe as I can and also bring that into living with my mom.
You're making a big difference. So it's not just a tiny difference. So thank you for that.
I feel safe. I miss my deliver to the door customers. I miss that interaction because most of it is, you know, leave at the door, take a picture, walk away. That's not much fun. But I forgot what I was going to say.
Latasha or Randy, how do you feel about safety?
Again, I live in a major city, so DC, it's you know, very populated and at times high crime. So, but again, and I prefer driving at night, which a lot of people, you know, try to shy away from. And it's probably because I'm from the city, so I'm comfortable. You know, I've been very fortunate that I haven't had any bad experiences. You know, you have to believe, you know, in most people are good people, you know, and unfortunately we have a few bad apples in the bunch, but primarily Uber does provide, you know, I believe enough support as far as driver safety. They're constantly pushing out information and resource information, you know, to assist the drivers here. At least I know I receive it, you know, on a constant, you know, on my phone, and my email, and, you know, different things in the app.
Do you put your follow my ride on? Do you have family members following your ride when you're out working? I do.
I personally do not. Again, I live in, and I actually live in a more of a urban area. So it's a lot of high crime, but most of the crime is, you know, gangs on gangs. You know, they're really not, you know, looking to do stuff to the Uber driver. You know, I haven't had any situations where I do not carry money on me. A lot of times people try to tip you in cash. So, you know, and I refuse it, you know, so they'll just, you know, go do it in the app anyway. But again, it personally, you know, because I like people and I engage people, but I'm always aware. So I think that, you know, if you're driving, whenever it is, you know, if you're always aware of your surroundings and mindful of certain areas, you know, that tend to be a little different than others, then you just, you know, you be more alert, you know, be more cautious. I mean, you know, because that it doesn't necessarily have to be an Uber ride. It could just be someone coming up to your car, you know, but that can happen at any time.
Andy, how about you? How you know, personal health with COVID or otherwise personal health in being a driver, or safety, how do you feel?
Oh man, I don't even know where to start. There's a lot of crazies out here in Arizona. Man, geez, I just wish you guys had some sort of way for us to put our rules of our vehicle on the app so the passengers know what to expect beforehand. Like, for example, early in, I think it was February, late January, this guy came into my car, tried to get into the front seat. I don't like to allow people in the front seat when I'm driving alone at 11 o'clock at night. He gets mad. After I cancel the ride, he jumps in the back, argues with me, calls me the N-word, slams the door, and leaves. And I mean, what that guy did was bad, disgusting, and, you know, definitely not good. But I mean, if there was a way for him to know that I don't allow people in the front seat when I'm driving with them alone, I'm sure he would have just canceled there and then.
That's interesting.
In addition to
I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt. I would think it's generally accepted that most folks go in the back seat. It's interesting that I guess general does not mean every single time, huh?
No,
Exactly, yeah.
no.
And I just wish there was a way for us to upload dash cam footage directly to you guys, because sometimes I get the runaround unless if they transfer me to like safety and support. Also some sort of way for Uber to somehow encourage the footage in case something was to happen, because I think a lot of drivers are afraid of the dash cam policy you guys have, in which that we can't put the footage out, or we get deactivated. Because in my situation, I was like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. Show people the footage. Lo and behold, he was a guy who owned a business in my community, and he got a lot of crap for that.
Well, he sounds like he deserves a lot of crap for that.
Mm-hmm.
On dash cams and in general, kind of taping rides, etc. It is actually technology that we're working on, and there's this fine balance, which is privacy concerns, and you guys know with TikTok and all that stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
privacy is rightfully a huge thing, and I think most riders, it's interesting, most drivers are like you. They're good people. They're totally open to dash cams. Hey, take the footage. I have nothing to hide. This is part of my profession. I act well. I treat my riders well. So they don't have a problem. I think a lot of riders, when they're in the car, they do expect privacy, and they're nervous about the balance of safety and privacy. Now, I would say, hey, safety is super important as well, right? And
Correct.
they're both important. So we're trying to work on technologies that balance the two. And then every single state statute, by the way, is different. So you can't have one solution. You've got to have a state-by-state solution that works for everybody. I really would like to get something that bridges that balances safety and privacy, but there's a lot of work to do so. So the tech teams are like totally on it, totally working on it. So one day, Randy, we're gonna get you that magic. And like there's solutions you can imagine where we don't take the dash cam footage, but we only take it if you tell us that there's an issue and it's in the cloud someplace and no one has access to it. Like we want to do it the right way, because we should not be inappropriately watching someone if we don't have to. It's only for those exceptional circumstances.
Exactly, yeah, because some people do it for clout. Others just want to do it just to make sure, it doesn't happen again. So I totally understand that.
So how are you guys, I'm curious as to how you think about the trade-off of like earnings and flexibility and being your own boss. Like, how do you think about those trade-offs? How does the system work for you? How does the app work for you in terms of flexibility, but then protection as well?
There is no trade-off in my book. It's just all good. I work when I can or when I need to, and if I don't want to, or I want to take days off, it's up to me. I work as much or as little as I want, and it's just easy. It's so much appreciated. Just the opportunity. I mean, 10 years ago, could you imagine making your own schedule and going out and making $1,000 a week in 30 hours online?
Right.
Not I.
Yeah.
No, but it's so I'll put it a different way, just like a more potentially critical way. We've been criticized for employing drivers by certain folks. They think that drivers should be employed, get benefits, etc. Kind of the packages that you would have as employers. And our position, I think it's right, is drivers are our customers. Like, they use our app to earn, they do whatever they want, whenever they want. That's different from employment.
Absolutely, and that's what I believe. I believe, when you start getting into where you want benefits and certain things of, like that, then that means that we dictate your schedule. We give you a set amount of hours, and you're going to do it from this time to this time. It's not when you want, and we still pay you benefits. That's no corporation does that. If you think about it realistically, that's just not realistic. You come in, you're a contractor. That's it. Again, I'm in a demographic where I can make money whenever. You know what I'm saying? It's always an opportunity to make money. When you think most people are asleep, They
All
are.
you gotta do is turn it on.
Yeah. Yes, all you have to do, literally, you can't get the car into drive before it's dinging, so.
Yeah, I know.
I know for me, I feel like I've learned so much about being my own business person. I mean, I have a mentor who I talk to about, making money and being an Uber driver. And every day I have two goals. One is to maximize my earnings, and the other is to connect with people, especially when I was driving people. I tried to bring a feeling of being of service to people, and actually that made my job easier. I think that if it's all about money, it becomes kind of empty, and it becomes empty. But what you really, I think everybody on this call would agree that, I mean, there are people you don't connect with, and then there are people, whether you're an Uber Eats driver or you're a regular driver, where you have these incredible kind of interactions with people, and it's like it blows you away.
It
And
does.
it blows you away, and you almost feel sort of grateful. I used to work in sales, selling jewelry, and I did not have these connections with people that I have as a delivery driver and as a driver, and I think that's one of the gifts. The flip side is like everybody said, you are your own business person. It's on you what you make every day. And yes, there's some days aren't as good as the others, but you, as a business person, as your own CEO, you've got to put in the hours, and you've got to know, you have to take responsibility for yourself, and you have that capacity to make great money, but that's what we signed up for as being the CEO of our own company. So I've learned a lot about actually customer service through this job, a lot more than I have with any other job. And I'll just say this fast. There have been moments where I've really had to take a hard look at myself in how I was showing up, and not, I just had to take responsibility for myself and not be a victim, and say, okay, what can I learn from this situation? Because you have people in your car where it doesn't go so great occasionally. Yeah. And I've had to say, okay, what could I have done differently? Or what do I need to learn from this situation? Sometimes someone's in a bad mood, and so you have to
absolutely.
That's not on you, but there's still always something to learn from it, customer service wise. So
exactly.
This has been a huge learning process, and I'm sure we'd all agree with that.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you something funny real quick. On my profile, it has 0 tolerance. So when you get in my car, we're on the same page.
Yeah.
On my profile, it says I'm bilingual. I speak English and sarcasm fluently.
Oh, I love that.
You've just described my wife. On the issue of flexibility versus benefits, et cetera, here's just to tell you a little bit about what we're thinking here is, I do think that society, kind of the expectations of government, et cetera, and I think that the expectations of how we think that people should be treated are changing. And what we're aiming for is actually to have a different model that preserves the flexibility that you have, but also expands the benefits that we offer you, and probably takes some of the money or that riders are paying, and puts it essentially in a fund, a certain percentage, that then you get to use to pay for needs that you've got, whether it's medical needs or other needs. So you've got all the flexibility, you can be your own CEO, but there's a bit of cushion for you, and you get to decide how you use that cushion. Now, there's one view, which is just give all of the money to the driver so that you can decide what you want to do. You're your own CEO, you know exactly what to do. But if we put that structure in place, one, is that interesting? What would you use it for? Is like meddling, or is it like, then I can take some time off and, you know, Randy, go study some more or go on vacation? If there was a pool that we created based on how much you drove and put a certain amount of your earnings in it, is that interesting? And what would you use it for?
I've got 11 grandkids. I'd use it as a Christmas fund or an HSA for dental work. I tried to join the one offered, but they turned me down. They said I
Wow.
wasn't eligible for some reason. I don't remember why.
That's strange. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to think when I talked to Emma yesterday. I said that, and I still can't remember why they said I wasn't eligible for it.
What about others? Or would you be interested in a health savings account or something like that?
Oh, absolutely. I'm always interested in something, you know, to promote being able to, you know, have, again, like you said, the flexibility, but also a benefit, you know, benefits are always welcome, you know, and I guess it just depends on, you know, again, how much Uber is willing to, I guess, invest in their people, in their drivers, you know, and how much the driver is willing to invest in Uber, you know, because it has to be a give take, you
Yes.
know, it can't just be, oh, well, we want, but then you're not willing to do your part as a driver, you know, or as a, you know, the service provider to, you know, to promote, we'll say, the you know, the industry, or, you know, or Uber. So that's, you know, that's just my, you know, my belief.
Totally get it. And so, you know, I mean, we're a company, we try to do good things that are good for society and us. We actually think this will make Uber more attractive for drivers and our couriers. You'll stay longer, you'll be happier, you know, happy people who work on a service and are happy with the service. They provide better customer service. So we actually do think like it's a good thing for society. It's the right thing for us to do. We always talk about doing the right thing, but it can also work because you are the face of our service. Like you're actually the service provider. Like we're a tech company and we do all this cool stuff. You're the ones every day who are driving, who are carrying food. You know, Allison, you talked about making sure that it's delivered in the right way. So it's very much in our interest to keep investing in you. And you know, I think sometimes we're guilty of moving too fast and not investing in drivers who use the service or couriers who deliver the way that we should. Any other thoughts on what kind of benefits would be attractive, or is it like, hey, if it's healthcare, that's fine, or if it's paid time off, or you'd want something that's more flexible, just like
Paid time off sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I just graduated from ASU and I'm starting a production company, so I'm starting to make film, and
Congratulations.
it'll be a great time to not worry about. Thank you. It'll definitely not. It'll be great not to worry about making money. When I could just focus on creating content, you know, and once I'm done with, let's say, a few, you know, productions, a few videos, just go back out and drive Uber nonstop like a good week or two.
William, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, great. Sorry you had trouble joining.
Yes, sorry.
We all introduced ourselves. I'm sorry you won't get to know us, but do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself? We'd love to get an intro.
Okay, well, my name is William Chacon. I'm from Venezuela. I have driven Uber for some year, like 5 years. I started doing as a driver for customer, you know, but then I was in Miami. I moved to Georgia, and now I'm driving as a Uber Eats driver. I think that with Uber Eats driver, I drive less miles, and I make the same money that I used to make driving for a customer, you know, for the other one driver. So I think that one of the things that I note for Uber is that sometimes you have to wait too much time at the restaurant because they don't have ready the order. So that's happened to me sometimes. And the other thing is that sometimes you get order that go too far away. You have to run too far away to get it. So I don't know why you don't get it to the area, to the same area. That will be good for us. I think so.
William, what would you call too far away? Like what's an area that you're comfortable working in? Oh my God, that's ridiculously cute, Randy. But, what's an area that's comfortable for you to work in?
No, I mean, I think that when you get an order, they just the Uber send you like a 7 mile or 10 mile away. So that's far away for me. You know, it's better when you are in the same area. That's better. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah, we totally do. We totally do, and I think sometimes you get orders that are far away, and it's tough. So we'll work to see if we can reduce the circle.
Yeah, because sometimes when you get more orders closer, you make more money if you get one that goes far away.
Yeah, that makes sense. But Randy, you have to introduce us to this promising Uber driver.
This is my son Jody. He kept on cooing and crying in the other room, so I brought him in.
What's up, buddy?
So
He was
cute.
supposed to walk across the stage with me at graduation, but we took a picture instead in my cap and gown.
That is awesome. That is so cool.
Yeah, 16 months.
Well, congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
It's I'm curious on the earning side. We one of the things about Uber is that earnings aren't guarantees. You have good days, you have bad days. Do you think there's more we can do to help you kind of earn more? Because it's based on the rides that you get and where you drive, etc. Can we give you more information so you can be more effective, or do you think you've got all the information that you need in order to earn as much as you want or you can?
Are there limits to how many people you have online at one time in a certain city?
No. So it's actually a really interesting discussion that we've had. One of the values that we have as a company is we're an app, and anyone who wants to earn can come onto the app and earn whenever they want, as long as, we do a background check on them and all that stuff, obviously, and they don't have complaints, etc. So that results in, and by the way, we don't tell people not to work. So sometimes you may have situations where you have too many couriers or drivers, and sometimes you have situations where you have too few, and that's a trade-off with flexibility that we provide.
There was a point here in Spokane last year where quit accepting partners for a time. Do you ever do that?
We have not done that. Generally, we did it in New York for a little bit because there was a regulation, but we have not done that just because we want to be an open system. We've talked about it, but like the value is we're about giving earnings opportunities that we want to be as wide and as expansive as possible. But is that something that you think we should think about?
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry.
my city's not too bad.
Okay.
Well, again, I'm in a major city. DC is inundated with drivers, whether you're an Uber driver, a Lyft driver, a Via driver, or some of the other local ride shared systems. But so the earnings here really don't change. It's just what you put into it. You can make the money. Again, I can go out on a random Tuesday night and the train station has 300 people waiting to get home, and it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. No public transportation is open, and there a lot of people are going far, so a trip will pay you higher earnings, and then you'll get a tip. I had a Sunday where I worked like less than 5 hours and made almost $500,
Wow.
and like, again, I got a trip and it took me, outside of the state, but the trip paid me, like 200 and some dollars. And then they tipped me like $100.
That's a good
So
thing.
like, I was done for the day.
I think, yeah, I agree with Latarsha and actually everybody. I think a lot of it, there's two ways to show up for this job. There's a way that you could sort of say, gosh, I hope I make a lot of money. And I know that I've heard of this one Uber driver who makes great money, and then you can sit there and just sort of be a victim about it. Or you can say, okay, I've got to try out a bunch of different hours. I've got to work, like, sounds like Latarsha, drives more at night. I don't know about you, everybody else, Randy and Gail and everybody, but I think it's like working with are you nocturnal or do you like to work during the day? And then it's like being proactive about it. It's saying, this is what I need to bring in. I'm going to try this neighborhood. That worked. Oh no, that didn't work. Then I go to my next neighborhood. So, I mean, that's part of being your own business person. You got to figure that out. And I think the flip side again is that the days that I don't bring in as much money, I mean, there was a situation where I dropped some food off at a hospital downtown, and this guy met me and he was like in his mid 40s, and he looked at me and I passed him the food and I was ready to drive off, and he's like, I just want you to know that this is my mom's last meal and this is her favorite restaurant. And it's like, I had been having a hard day that day and I was just kind of feeling discouraged, and I was like, you know what? That is what I just to feel like I was a small part of like that chain felt really good. So I think it equals out. The days that you don't make as much money, you connect with people, and that's one of the gifts of it.
That's an amazing story. That is so cool.
Yeah, I found my niche. I do split shifts. I do breakfast. I start at like 7:30 in the morning and go till about 1. And then I go back from like 3:30 to 7:30 whenever it starts dying down. And then I leave the late nights to the kids.
That's awesome.
I like late nights.
What about you, Andy?
Definitely love the nights,
You love the nights.
especially
I
weekend
love the
nights.
nights too. I just don't want to work. Other
I don't
things-
mind it. They're the most interesting passengers, and you make the most money, in my opinion.
How are people more generous during this time, or are they like they are?
They are.
Yes.
That's-
I find that to be true. Hello, William.
Yeah,
Yeah,
William, how's it work for you with Uber? I mean, just so you know, Uber Eats for us, the rides business is down with the cities shut down, et cetera. It's coming back, which is nice. But the Uber Eats business is just really
Yeah.
growing.
Right, yeah.
So
Yes.
how's it going for you, William?
Yeah, it's going good. Since the pandemic get, the people is generous, more generous with us, so they tip on us. Very good. I think that the 100%, I make like the 80% tip of me. So that's great.
That is awesome. It's great to hopefully that generosity of spirit will continue going forward.
Yeah, and I think
How do you
that
wanna-
sorry. And I think that the more people is using the app, the Uber app, the Uber Eat app now, because more of the day of the week, you don't stop. This is one, another, and another. I think it's working really good now with that problem, with the pandemic.
How are you
William,
going
is-
to incorporate the, with just, newly acquiring the Postmates with the Uber Eats? Because it's kind of like the same concept, but, like, I don't know if it was on, but before I said with the Postmates, there are other areas outside of, restaurants
Yes.
that you deal with.
Yeah. So Latarsha, you talked about it, and you should be a Wall Street business analyst. Postmates actually delivers more than food. including I've heard hey for some folks. And what we want to do is, if you think about it, if you're a courier, you're driving around, you can deliver, more stuff than food. So we want to expand beyond food into other categories, whether it's pharmacy, we're getting into groceries, and we just essentially want to be like this local network with all of the folks who are using our app, getting food or medicine or groceries or pay to people at home, whatever you need. So it's pretty cool.
Okay.
We're almost out of time. I'm curious if there's one piece of advice for us, or hey, do this, Dara, or anything else that you want to say about using Uber. I'd love to hear it, and then we'll say our goodbyes. Randy, let's start with you. If there's one thing you want us to know.
And I really want to send you my stole gratitude after my graduation. Like, you guys are the reason why I graduated from ASU, and I want to thank you for that.
Congratulations.
You so much, man. You're an inspiration, man. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Natasha, what about you?
Again, just it's an honor to, to be able to sit and, have a conversation with you. Again, I just admire you in what you do, again, just about people, you don't get that. And I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Allison, you?
When I first started driving in 2017, people were asking me what it's like to be a woman driver. And Uber was, as you know, Uber was in some hot water with stuff that had happened. And kind of what Latarsha says, I appreciate the work that I did a little research, and I appreciate the work that you've done to support women through this, because I don't know, it makes me more proud to represent the company. That's important to me. And the fact that Uber has done a lot of healing with women, I appreciate the work that you and what Uber has done to sort of, to stand up for women, and now to stand up for all different races. So it feels good to work for a company that cares about that. So thank you.
Thank you, Allison. We've got a long way to go, but I really appreciate the recognition.
I appreciate the effort.
That's probably his wife's idea.
Oh no, I read that blog post and I cried. I was like, heck yeah, finally.
Oh, thank you. Gail, how about you?
Well, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I wish to, I can live the American dream because you've allowed me to, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Gail. William, you're late to join, but you get to go last.
Well, I appreciate that the opportunity that Uber gave me because I can choose the hour that I have to work, and I'm really good with the company. Yes, I'm really good with the company. I feel great. So thank you, Uber.
Thank you very much. Listen, everyone, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Like, I'm feeling a little isolated right now at home, and this kind of connection and hearing from you is hugely valuable. If you have suggestions on how we can get better, because we do want to get better, please send them my way. But thank you so much for being on the front lines and on helping and contributing. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Good luck.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
And nice to meet you all.
Yeah, you too.
Take care.